Here, the Frente Boquerón, those are the supporters of the Malaga football team. And if you go over here a little bit, you can see a little bit better what I was talking about with the wrought iron. You see the arches up above here, and that also echoes the Moorish influence that we saw in the door, the Nasari marble door. And then here is obviously the stained glass that I was talking about, which has been recently redone, like I said, with the renovation in 2010. So I think it's just a great place to come to get the flavor of the city. You can't talk about Malaga and the culture of the city without talking about the Semana Santa. Obviously, Holy Week, the processions are famous around the world. You can see them in all the different cities in Spain, although it's true that in the north, the processions are a lot more kind of sedated and more solemn. In the south, especially in Malaga, you're going to find that the Holy Week and all the processions surrounding it are a lot more of a kind of happy occasion. You're probably going to meet your friends in the street and maybe have a beer while you're waiting for the processions. You're probably going to take your little schedule for where to see each hermandad or each brotherhood and figure out like, oh, well, I'm going to go here first and then go over here and then see this other one, because it's a culture. You want to see your friends, but you also want to see the espectáculo, the show. So another thing that's interesting about the Semana Santa in Malaga is that instead of pasos, the floats that they use are called tronos, and they are basically gigantic floats. They weigh up to 5,000 kilos, and there can be anywhere from 72 to 400 some people carrying these. The people that carry the tronos are called costaleros, and they basically take all the weight of the float onto their shoulders. They use a towel to kind of protect themselves, and they get underneath it and hoist it up on their shoulders and carry this all through the town. And in Malaga, it's really interesting because the tronos are too big to fit inside any of the parishes. So where it would lead from inside the church in a city like Sevilla, in Malaga, they can't fit because they're basically like little chapels in and of themselves that people are hoisting up on their backs. So they take this procession, which the main focus obviously is the trono, and go all around town, and the people, the devoted are watching. And another aspect of the procession that's really important, obviously, is the music. The first time I heard a Semana Santa march, I definitely thought it was something super sad and really kind of eerie, almost like a funeral march. But once I saw what it was like when you're in the streets, these narrow little streets in Andalusia that you barely have room to stand in because there's so many people packed in. You're pressed up against the back of a building, kind of trying to get a view of these tronos and of the procession going by. It's really the perfect music. It makes the float come to life, and you can see in Malaga they also say that they dance with the trono a little bit, so the costaleros move back and forth, and it makes it look almost like the figure of Christ on the cross is actually moving, or the Virgin Mary is walking down the streets. It's really something spectacular to see. And if you're lucky, also you'll see someone come out on their balcony and sing a saeta, which is just a very religious song, kind of that evokes a lot of emotion and is, paying homage. And they're amazing because, it's dark out, you have the candlelight, and it just gives you goosebumps to hear this person sing and the pure emotion that comes out of their heart. And this bar is all kind of cofrade themed, which means it's Semana Santa themed. And it's a great option if you're not in Malaga for the Semana Santa, because it lets you kind of experience the same things that you would experience during Semana Santa in the form of a bar, and it has delicious tapas to boot. So let's go inside. We're inside Las Marchanas, and we just ordered some tapas. This is a monterito de pringa, and they make it using the meat that they have inside cocido, or that they use to make the cocido. So the next day, whatever's left over from the chorizo, the meat, the beef, the chicken, they mix it all together with a little bit of the fat from the tocino, the bacon, and they make this delicious looking concoction and make a little sandwich out of it. So that's something that's really typical of this bar, and it's one of the best things to order. And then another tapita that we have asked for is the croquetas de la abuela Mari. And so they're Grandma Mary's croquettes, and they're made of ham, and they're also a specialty here. So we're gonna dig in. If you remember outside, we were talking about the costaleros and how they had to hold up the whole entire trono, and they had to hoist it up on top of their back. If you see that little figurine that's kind of right here, you can see that he's got ropes around his waist, and that's so that he can better support the weight of the trono on top of him. And next to him is the thing that surprised me probably most about the Semana Santa. The first time that I ever saw Semana Santa was in Sevilla. I actually was playing the trumpet in the Banda de Música de la Cruz Roja. And so I had my trumpet, and I was going to go play in one of the processions. And it was Sunday, the first day of Semana Santa. And in the street, you saw all these people, all the Nazarenos, with their hoods on, their pointed hoods. And so, of course, as an American, the first thing I think of is, oh my goodness, that looks so much like the KKK. And it was one of the cofradías, it was one of the hermandades, the brotherhoods that wore all white. So it really looked like the KKK. So then I asked around and I figured it out, that actually it's not that the Nazarenos look like the KKK, but the other way around. That the KKK took the idea for the pointed hoods from the Nazarenos, from the processions in Spain. So it's just an interesting little fact, and also kind of a warning that if you are here for Semana Santa, just kind of like be aware of that and know that it might happen. And also, if you look a little bit farther towards the back of the bar, you can see a big ball of wax hanging from the ceiling. And that's there because the kids during Semana Santa will go around and they'll follow the Nazarenos who are carrying these big candles that are almost up to your waist. And so they'll have these lit candles, which obviously have the little pools of wax. And every once in a while, you have to let the wax kind of drip down and come out of their candle, because otherwise it's going to burn their hands. So the kids go around and make little balls out of this wax. They go and ask, can you please give me some wax? Can you give me some wax? And by the end of the week, they compete to see who got the biggest ball. So that's like a ginormous one, obviously. And also hanging from the ceiling, you can see there's robes that the different Nazarenos wear for the different hermandades, for the different brotherhoods. And there's also musical instruments. You can see over there the cornetas, the cornets, and the trumpet. There's a drum up there. And so it's just really neat to look around. And if you see on this wall, there's lots of black and white photographs from Malaga in the past, from Semana Santa, and just other family and friends of the bar, Las Personas. Welcome to the Calle Larios. This is one of the main commercial streets in Malaga. As you can see, there's no cars allowed, so you can walk down it. And the rent along this street is one of the most expensive in Spain. This is basically the Fifth Avenue of Malaga. And since we're here at Christmas, you can see the gorgeous light display that they've made this year. The Ayuntamiento, the city government, pays for it. And this year, it's supposed to be like a cathedral. So you can see how the lights are kind of in a dome shape. It's absolutely gorgeous, and we couldn't leave Malaga without showing it to you. I hope there's lots more to see. There's lots more to eat, for sure. And I hope you've enjoyed our little mini tour.